Welcome to Arkansas First Reports. This is our weekly capital review. And Mike, we are in week 8, right? The
Yes.
Arkansas General Assembly. Can you believe how quickly it has gone by?
I can. It seems like just yesterday we walked in, and yesterday I was trying to remember what week it was, and when I finally realized we're in the 8th week, we've been doing this 8 weeks.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yes, this went fast.
Yeah. So this is the time of the week where we just spend about 15 minutes just highlighting some of the things that, some of the bills that took place at the Capitol this week. And it's kind of a fast pace, kind of like a gun draw, right? It's boom, boom, boom,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Okay. So let's start with SB 189. This is the ivermectin bill. And this bill would make ivermectin available over the counter. And this is presented by Senator Clark. And this bill went to committee yesterday,
Made it out of the
made it out of
committee.
committee, right?
Yes, and this is a bill we've been talking about for a few weeks now, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. We've been
Right.
talking about this bill, and I'm happy to see that it is finally moving forward, and ivermectin has the possibility of making it to for human consumption over the counter. So that's great. A good bill by Alan Clark, of course, and it made it out of the committee yesterday. So I expect it to go to the floor pretty quick and then get transmitted.
I think it's going to floor today on Thursday, which of course this podcast would be seen on tomorrow on Friday when this will be released, but it's supposed to go, I believe, to the floor today.
I'm just going to go ahead and call it for tomorrow when people are watching this and
Yeah.
say that it gets out of the Senate
Yeah.
floor and it gets transmitted to the House and it gets sent over to the House committee, and we'll see what happens there. I'm actually a little surprised on this one because I expected there'd be a lot of support, of course, but I figured there'd be a lot of lobbying against it with it being a bill that will impact pharmaceutical companies. So I look forward
Oh,
to
it's
this
not
bill
over
getting
with
through.
yet.
Yeah, it is definitely not over with yet, but I look forward to seeing where this bill goes in the next week, and hopefully it doesn't get moved consistently the way we've seen other bills get moved that are really good bills that will benefit the citizens of Arkansas.
Okay. All right. Very good. Now, the next one, oh, we're going to go to the hammer bills. Right? And so let's first start with SB 209. This proposes changes to the initiative and referendum petition process, giving the Secretary of State expanded authority to disqualify petition signatures based on findings of misconduct by the canvasser, right?
By the person who is initiating the ballot initiative. And this will tie to 212, which I don't know if we're planning on talking about 212 here in just a second,
Mm-hmm.
but 212 failed this week, so we'll kind of talk about
Right.
these at the
Right.
the same time, because a lot of these, the hammer bills, which is 207 to 212, had a law enforcement impact on them at the end with 212. We've seen 212 get defeated in committee this week, which really surprised me this week, that 212, which is creating the document validity division, which is also a hammer bill that is tied in with these 207 through 212. But it gets very scary when you become a canvasser or you're someone that's putting out a ballot initiative. And I want to say this: I think we do need to have secure ballot initiatives. Like, people need to know what they are, what they're signing, and present the ballot initiatives correctly, because there is some bad actors out there. But I will say, for the most part, the ballot initiatives that are brought forward by the citizens of Arkansas have been good ballot initiatives. And I think Clint talked about this a couple of weeks ago. We need to call these the Clint Lancaster bills, because I think some of these bills come about because Clint was very successful in getting his ballot initiatives taken care of for Searcy County, and there's a couple other counties when it comes to the paper ballots, which I'm sure we'll cover on a show down the road,
Right.
because that is something that nationally has gained a lot of traction.
Right.
And there's a few counties in Arkansas that are suffering the repercussions of that. And I don't mean to get off topic, but all this kind of ties back together to these bills. And I'm sure we'll have many discussions on that in the coming months with paper ballots if they choose to do it this year, because I'll say this, we are not even 40% through the bills that are filed right now.
Right.
And I think we've only got to push to 90 days right now. So I expect this legislative session to get pushed to the full 120, because I don't see them getting through the next handful of bills, getting all these bills heard and out of there in the next 30 days. I just do not see that happening.
Well, 209 passed yesterday.
Yes.
And this, let's be clear, it does not strengthen election integrity. It strengthens government control over the ballot process for
Yes.
sure. It weakens direct democracy and it stifles grassroots activism. And so Arkansas voters deserve transparency, they deserve accountability, and they deserve a fair petition process.
And they don't need to be when you have a petition process or a ballot initiative, you shouldn't be worried that there's going to be law enforcement repercussions
Yes.
for doing those things, because you cannot control what a person that has come to you to sign a ballot initiative is doing. You can't control their knowledge. You can't control their ability to intake information and be aware of what they're doing all the time. It is due on us to make sure they know what that ballot initiative is. But we can't say, hey, the driver's license they have is fake or it's fraudulent.
Right.
Or I can't keep them from going to the next county over and signing the same bill in 3-4 different counties. We don't have the control over that.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what's going to be done at the Secretary of State's office already. So don't make it harder for us to have bills, and don't have these legal repercussions to it where people are just afraid, because I think that's what this is going to do. People are going to be afraid to put ballot initiatives.
Yeah. I mean, this gives really a legal loophole as well, because it talks about the preponderance of evidence, right?
Yeah.
And that is without clear guidelines. The law is ripe for political abuse. And selective enforcement with that language. So, all right, well, let's move on to the next one was SB 210, right? And this one, also by Hammer, proposes changes to the Arkansas initiative and referendum petition process that would require every individual signing the petition to read the ballot title in the presence of the canvasser or have it read aloud to them before they sign. It imposes criminal penalties on canvassers who accept signatures from individuals who have not met this requirement. And I have huge problems with this.
And this one has the emergency clause too.
Yeah.
And we left that out of 209. Both of these bills have an emergency clause. So once they're passed, and this one passed again yesterday also, as soon as it gets to the governor's desk and the governor signs it, these immediately will become acts. And we seen that with 207 last week, that SB 207 is now Act 218.
Right.
So these will immediately become acts, and this did pass. So
Yes,
this is going to go on the books. It will probably be Act 219, because I think that's the next sequence of act numbers. So it's either going to be 219 or 220 will be the one of the two. And
so let's give a, because we've talked about this on Arkansas First News, but let's make it very clear. What this does is some of these ballot initiative titles are a page and a half. There was testimony given by one of the legislators that it takes 8 minutes sometimes to read just the title alone.
Yeah.
One needs to ask themselves, if you are going in the midst of summer, because let's be clear, that's when these, ballot initiatives are taking place. All right, that's always when you see canvassers are in the summertime.
Oh, yes.
Mike, are you going to stand and have someone read a ballot initiative to you? And mind you, that's after you're pulling out your wallet in your case, and me digging through my purse in my case, which can be quite the mess sometimes, to find my ID, to give to the canvasser, and now either I'm going to stand and read or they're going to have to read to me.
I will say this, 99% of the time when I go sign a ballot initiative, I've done my homework
Right.
before I go sign it, and I'm seeking out someone. And we had this last year with some of Conrad Phillips's Reynolds's bills, and I think most of them were the paper ballot bills, and I forget what the other one was, but I sought them out because those were initiatives that I wanted to be a part
You
of.
researched it.
Yes.
Right. So
Yes.
that's what I do. I hear about a ballot initiative, I go do my research, and then I go seek it out. And I don't need it read to me. And it's on me as the signer, right? It falls upon me to know what I'm signing. And then, as someone who's done canvassing, right? Um, eh, one, how do I protect myself? If someone says, "Well, she didn't read it to me," or "She didn't give me time to read it," how do I protect myself? So it really puts roadblocks up there for canvassers, where they go, I'm out.
I can tell you what's exactly going to happen with these bills. You're going to have counter protesters, or you're going to have people within law enforcement that are going to go to these canvassers and attempt to sign these ballot initiatives and say, I've forgotten my ID, but I really want to sign it. This is my information. Or they bring an electric bill or something like that. They're not going to bring a state ID.
Right.
And they're going to say, I don't have time to hear all that. They're going to get the grumpy old man that I just want to sign the bill and go away. I'm going to put my address on it. I'm going to put my name on it. That's my name. That's my address. And they're going to walk away. And when they walk away, 10 minutes later, you're going to have the police department pull up, and these people are going to get arrested for that. And
Right.
and that is super scary to me. I think there's some things in these bills that has some good to them, but they made these so laden upon the person who is doing a ballot initiative to create fear. And I think these bills right now, the way they are, you will not see another person do a personal ballot initiative. You will not see grassroots guys like Clint Lancaster going and doing a ballot initiative because the burden is so heavy on it.
It's such government overreach.
And you can't control that. You want to get your ballot signed.
Right.
So now, are you going to turn away every single person that pulls up? Because we had this last year. We've seen it last year. With some of the bills, you'll get 10 people that pull up, and they're not going to sit there for 30 minutes, 40 minutes to sign your initiative. They want to come in, sign an initiative. The burden of that proof was on the Secretary of State's office, which is still there, and it should be there, but that's why you have the laws in place already.
Right.
And they've been successful I didn't go back and look how long the laws have been on the books, but they've been very successful in controlling the ballot initiatives.
Right.
I mean, we had 2 last year that were removed by the Secretary of State. One of them was the women's health deal, which was not about women's health. It was about abortion.
Right.
And then the marijuana bill, which was very confusing with the way it was written and the understanding of it. But that's what the Secretary of State's office is for, and they done their job, and they done their duty. You're never going to get this back.
Right.
We're never going to unwind these bills. And that's the concern is when you do get an elected representatives up there that are for the people, when you do get that number, and I feel confident that we're heading that way, you're not going to undo this stuff.
Right.
Or it's going to be very difficult.
Well, let's shoot one more out. What you got?
I'd like to hit on the bills that the state really helped us with last week. Was that 1564 and 1567?
Yeah.
I mean, with Candy, with your help, with Celine Hardliners, with multiple people around the state got it. And I will say this to the people that's watching, and I'm going to look at you right now, and I'm going to ask you to do one thing. When you hear about a bill that is coming up, it is best to be in front of it than behind it.
Yeah.
And if you get in front of that bill and you support it up front, or it's a bad bill and you want it gone, you can get it gone up front. Once it started going through committees and making it to floors, they get very difficult to do anything with. But 1564, we've seen, and that was a Senator or Representative Long bill that was involving changing the laws on when a motorsports facility was, where it could conduct business at, the hours it can conduct business in. That bill got read across the table yesterday and removed.
Mm-hmm.
And that is because of the citizens of Arkansas. It was overwhelming, the support there was to get that bill removed. And it's because of people like yourself, Celine Hardliners. I'll give myself a little bit of credit on this one too.
Mm-hmm.
But that was, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And 1567, same thing. Rick McClure's bill, which is going to change the definitions of what motorsports vehicles are and add motorcycles into it. That one has been pulled also. And they're going to start working, which is what should have happened to begin with. They should be doing this on a county level. They should be dealing with these issues within the county. Mm-hmm. And if you're not getting resolved in the county, then you have legal course you can take. The state should not be getting involved in county business. We will talk about this over and over, and I know Candy is a big fan of this, and I think Arkansas First News is really behind government at its lowest level. And if you start trying to reach in, that's government overreach, and we want you to stop. And we've seen a lot of government overreach this year. And 307 yesterday also with the public utilities companies.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot of people upset that they thought that one was just going to be a slam dunk. We're going to run this thing through and we're going to ram it down. People getting behind it again. People are figuring out getting in front of these bills and calling your representatives.
Right.
Makes a massive difference. And it's great. I'm sure you may have some that you want to talk about.
Well, unfortunately, when I say rapid fire, because we have 15 minutes on this, that's where we're at. So,
yep.
The thing about it is that, with Arkansas First Reports and Arkansas First News, we are constantly putting out information about what's going on in Arkansas, the bills that are being presented, so that you, the listeners, can make informed decisions and that you can decide how you want to get involved, whether that's calling your representatives, calling your senators, coming to the Capitol and speaking for or against a bill. We want you to be informed so that you know how to engage in this process. I thank you so much for tuning in to Arkansas First Reports for our Capitol Review recap for this week. Stay informed, stay engaged, and stay Arkansas strong.